أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمنا بالله صدق الله العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah jamiyan. My apologies that I could not be in person at the time of 8:30 p.m. for the course time because we have a Ishali Majlis this evening, Wiladat of 11th Imam, Muslim Askari in Islam. So I decided to prepare the slides, which I already posted in our WhatsApp group. And also I decided to record this class. The link will be posted soon. So you can listen to it at your convenience. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you can email me. There is one question from one of the sisters. Inshallah, I'll try to email them during the week. But besides that, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. So we continue as usual. We start with our dua, which we start the class with. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma وفقنا لما تحب وترضى ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا أن طرفة عين أبدا اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. I will not repeat the translation as it appears also on the slides, and we have discussed about it earlier. Today being the night, today being the 10th of Rabiul Akhir, night of 10th Rabiul Akhir, it is Wiladat of our 11th Imam, Master Askari of Islam. So as usual, as we have an occasion, we remember the Imam by taking his hadith and discuss it briefly. So we also learn the Arabic part of it as well as Islam, right? So Imam says, أَمَّا مَنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْفُقَهَاءِ صَائِنًا لِنَفْسِهِ حافظا لدينه مخالفا على هواه مطيعا لأمر مولاه فللأمام أن يقلدوه. Subhanallah. You can imagine how Imam al-Islam prepared the community of the Shias after him, because he knew that he was the last Imam who people would interact with and live with. After that, his son, the 12th Imam, would get into Ghaibat, because by the time when Imam was leaving, his son was born. Imam became Shaheed in the year 268. And 5 years before that, in 255, 15th of Shaban, according to our historians, the 12th Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Mahdi al-Qaim Ajullah Faraja al-Sharif, he was born. So Imam knew that soon when he leaves this world, then Imam, also his son, who is there but will be in Ghaibat. And that Ghaibat is known as Ghaibat al-Sugra because it is a shorter period, which was 69 years old, 69 years of the age of the Ghaibat, 69 years, during which he had four people who represent his representatives. Four representatives were there after him, one after the other, who would take the questions from the public and meet him in privacy, and he would guide them. So through this naib, through his representative, we used to get the message. But to prepare for this Ghaibat al-Sugra, and then of course after that Ghaibat al-Kubra came, Imam advised this hadith. He said to his Shias, أَمَّا مَنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْفُقَهَاءِ سَائِنَ النَّفْسِ. Amongst the fuqaha, that means amongst the mujtahideen, amongst the jurisprudence, who is protector of his soul, سَائِنَ لِنَفْسِ. That means who does not give into his own wishes and whims, right? سَائِنَ النَّفْسِ. حَافِظًا لِدِينِ. Not only that he protects his soul from his desires and other things, also the one who protects several of his religion. Hafizan lidin, the one who protects or the one who takes care of his religion. Hafizan lidin. Wa khalifan ala hawa. When it comes to his own passions, people sometimes give in to desires, to the whims which are there internally. But this, amongst the fuqaha, if you find somebody who is, who protects his own soul and then takes care of the religion, right? Saves the religion, right? And then also the one who is against, who oppresses his own passions, mukhalifan, that means he's against, he's exactly opposite to what he desires. Mutiyan li amri mawlahu. At the same time, right, he is submissive to the command of his Lord. So, mutiyan li amri mawlahu, whatever the command of his Lord, Allah is there, he tries to ittiba, he follows him. فَلِلْأَوَامِ أَنْ يُكَلِّدُوهُ فَلِلْأَوَامِ أَنْ يُكَلِّدُوهُ. Then it is important that the awam, that means the public, should do his taqleed, yuqallidu, imitate. The word, for example, today you have taqleed, that a mujtahid is the one who reaches the stage of ijtihad. Until that time, that he's so much learned that people can now follow him, imitate his rulings, whatever his fatwa is. So the concept of taqleed was actually suggested by Imam al-Islam, and he says, "Fal-army and yuqallidu." That means the public should do his taqleed. So yuqalliduhu, you can see, is that although subhanallah, this is a good, because there was a question that sometimes, although it is should is there, but the lam is not there. We have been doing last week, we did Fadul Amr, in which we use lam, but here there is no lam, right? But even then it is obligatory, or it is public should follow him. So this in yukalliduhu, you can see, is they should follow him, although there is no lam there, but even the yukallidu in the context. Now, for the army and yukallidu. Now, it is in the context you realize that this is not only it's a requirement, it's obligatory for the people to imitate him and follow him. You see, so he should always obligatory, and that is why you can see that what the translator says, it is obligatory for the public, the Oman, to imitate him. So we discussed the hadith at the same time. There is that word, yukalliduhu, yukallid, qallada. Qallada is to imitate, to follow. Yukalliduhu, that means this is plural. Yukalliduhu, they follow such a scholar, such a jurist, just a faqih, who has these four qualities. That he is the one who protects himself, and then from the nafs. The nafs should not be mislead. Hafil Dini, who is always careful, protective about the savor of his religion. Mukhalifun, he also mukhalifun ala hawa. He does not give in to his passion. He is against his passion and lust. Mutiyan li amri mawla, and always obedient to the command of his mawla, that means Lord. So if these four conditions are there in a fuqaha, in a faqih, in a scholar, then the public should follow him. So this is a beautiful hadith whereby Imam is preparing his followers, the Shias like us, what to do when Imam will be in Ghaibat, and his son will be in Ghaibat, whether it's short Ghaibat or long Ghaibat. So that completes this hadith only. I just thought, because since we are celebrating this Wiladat, we discuss this hadith. We come to our discussion. Now, as I was preparing the slides for today, I realized that the concept of Fadul Amr, we did lesson 3 and lesson 4, right? Fadul Amr, if you see, yes, there is a table. If you look at our text, right? If I look at this our text, and if you open this pages lesson 3, so that was lesson 3 was on page 100 here, right? And then there is the table which we discussed in the last class and the class before that, right? So, of course, I realized that we need to revise this thing. We need to, again, make it simplified so that you are able to form what you are able to compose it. You are able to just do it. So, in that, on our text on page 100, or the first page of unit 3, there's a text whereby it is showing us step by step. I hope you are able to follow it, but I thought let me still try to make it simpler. So this is it. Here it is. We have made it simpler. what we have said, replace the prefix ta with alif. Now, mind it, here in this particular lesson, lesson 3, we are trying to form the fi'l al-amr from the present tense, which is second person. Second person, present. So replace the prefix. So in the second person, for example, kataba, third person yaktubu, but the second person is taktubu. So replace the prefix ta with alif. Instead of ta, we will replace alif. And then alif to the second person. That means second person for the mudari, right? This is the mudari, taktubu. Kataba, yaktubu. So the mudari, the second person is taktubu. So we'll replace this prefix ta with alif. And then for masculine singular, this is masculine singular, dhamma on the last letter, this dhamma, yaktubu, is changed to sakin. See? So instead of taktubu, it will be taktub. And alif ta will go alif and uktub, right? And then we say for masculine and dual, we drop the last letter ni. So yaktubani, there will be still alif here instead of ta, but nun will go uktubani. So uktubani, right? And then if it is, this is for the masculine dual, we drop. For masculine plural, we replace na at the end with alif. So again, this na, taktubuna, na will be replaced with alif, right? So, and that will be alif, silent alif, taktubu, right? Alif. The prefix alif will carry now, as we discussed. Now here there is prefix alif. When you say this prefix, that means the prefix. No, this alif is not a prefix. This is a suffix. Okay, we are going to replace this alif with nun. So keep in mind that this taktubuna will be replaced with alif, not taktubu, right? But now we are saying the prefix. Instead of ta, there is alif. No? The prefix alif will carry kasra if the second letter in the verb has kasra or fatha. The alif will carry dhamma if the second letter in the verb is dhamma. Okay. So in this text, in this case, because it is taktubu, the second letter ta has dhamma, taktubani, taktubu, it will be uktub. So uktub, uktuba, uktub. Okay. So taktubu will become uktub. Okay. I hope all you understand this thing. So I just want to, we are repeating this thing what we did, but I'm trying to make it simpler, very simpler. I thought that, no, let me try to make it very easier compared to what our author has said. Our author has used the whole page just trying to go through different steps. I realized that, no, you are already in level 7, in fact, we are almost completing level 7, so you know better. So taktubu will become uktub. So what we did, we removed this prefix ta and put u, and then taktubu, we removed the dhamma on ba and put just sakin, uktub. And we know that this can be either u or a, u or e. In this case, it's not e, it is u because there is dhamma on ta. Okay, so taktubu will become uktub, taktubani will become uktuba, taktubuna will become uktubu. Okay, so this is an example whereby the prefix alif, the first alif which is of imperative, is dhamma. Then what I've done, I've given the example where the prefix would be kasra. Remember, we said prefix can be either dhamma or kasra. So if you take sami'a, to listen or he listens, right? Or he hears, sami'a, right? So tasma'u, it is sami'a yasma'u. Sami'a is the past tense, it's presented yasma'u. So in the second person, it will be tasma'u. Okay? In the second person. So tasma'u will become isma, because what is there? You can see mim here has a fatha. Since mim is a fatha, this alif prefix will take kasra. Remember I told you that alif will carry dhamma in the second letter verb, and the alif will prefix alif will carry kasra if the second letter in the verb has kasra or fatha. Okay. So in this case, tasma'u isma. Okay. Tasma'ani isma'a. The noon kasra will drop, as we said, right? Tasma'una, the second person becomes isma'u. So what happens? Nun fatha is dropped, and instead there is just this alif, which is what silent alif. Are you all with me? So what we have done here is that we have tried to simplify this process of how to form an imperative verb. Again, taking a verb and then try to find its present tense. Within the present tense, you just find the second person, we are talking masculine, second person, masculine, okay? And then from that we follow. So, taktubu, uktub, taktubani, uktuba, taktubuna, uktubu, tasma'u, isma, tasma'ani, isma'a, tasma'una, isma'u. I hope this is very clear, okay? Inshallah. So if you try to use the same thing, of course, you can also start, for example, here in our book, if you see that there are other also verbs, right? So if you open the second page here they will go, for example, daraba, yadribu, idrab, right? Samiya, yasma'u, isma. Ka'ada, yaqudu, uqra. Kharaja, yakhruju, ukhraj, right? So subhanallah, you can see daraba, okay? Daraba, it will be what the second daraba is present tense will be yadribu. From yadribu, you are going to the second person, tadribu. From tadribu, you remove the and put e because tadribu ra is a kasra and ba dhamma will become ba sakin. So idrik, right? So daraba yadribu idrik. Samia yasma'u isma, which we already heard, right? And then also qa'ada. Qa'ada is to sit. Qa'ada yaqudu uqud. No. So of course in namaz we use the first person. Bihawlillahi wa quwwatihi aqumu wa aqum, right? Bihawlillahi wa quwwatihi. With the power and strength of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, akumu, I rise, aqud, and I sit, right? And some of the scholars say, when Ayatollah Sistani says, Ayatollah Qur'an used to say, it's good to add also, now that you are students of what Arabic, you should also add two more words. Say, bihawlillahi wa quwwatihi akumu wa aqud wa arka'u wa asjud. But now you know, aqud, that means I sit. Akumu means I rise. Arka'u, I do ruku. Asjud means I do sajda. So bihawlillahi wa quwwatihi akumu wa aqud wa arka'u wa asjud. With the power and strength of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I rise, I sit, I do ruku, I do sajda. I hope you know. So, but that is all present tense. Okay, we are doing here what imperative verb, but just because in our book here she has given the example of qada, yakud, ukud, right? So if you say somebody sit, ukud, just sit down. No? And then of course there is also kharaja. Kharaja, yakhriju. And the second was with takhruju, ukhraj. So I hope that is very clear. This was masculine, okay? Now we go to the next slide and look at feminine. Same thing. The only slight differences. Once you master this, how to form the imperative verb for masculine with the feminine, there is not much difference. As long as you know that if you, as you did in the class, all of you, once you know how to conjugate the table into present tense, then you will know it. So what to do? Again, you take, for example, kataba, right? Kataba. Then, of course, kataba, the second person for feminine will be taktibina. Taktubina. Kataba yaktubu taktubina, right? Means she writes, taktubina. For example, Fatima writes, taktubina, right? So, for taktubina, what we'll do is that in the second person, taktubina, we will do what? We'll again remove this ta, no? Second person will become ta, and put hamza, and then this na will be dropped. You see, so we replace the ta with alif in second person of mudhara, which we did, right? For feminine singular, the nun fatha on the last letter is dropped. See, so then uktubi. Are you all with me? No. Kataba, taktabina, because kataba yaktubu, but second person taktub. But for a sister, for female, we say second person feminine is taktubina. So taktubina, what we'll do, we will just replace this ta, which is what a prefix with alif, and remove the na. So uktubi. I hope you are with me. So that is second person feminine singular. Okay, uktubi, uktubi, right? And then of course for feminine, now dual, we drop the last letter ni. So here is dual. Taktubina is you, no, second person. You tell the sister that you are writing. But if there are two sisters writing, say taktubani, that they are writing, two of them, taktubani. So that taktubani will just drop ni, and second person will be uktuba, right? Uktuba. So again, this is exactly if you really are, if you look at it very carefully, there's no difference. Uktuba is also what for masculine for 2%, and so is for feminine. If you look in our table, for example, you see, the for dual person is ifala, right, for masculine, and for feminine is again ifala. So it is taktuba, right, that you write, two of you command two sisters taktuba, and also if it is a boy, you still say taktuba. See, you see uktuba, here is, right, so here is again uktuba, same, so you can see here it is ifala, so uktuba. So there is no difference in dual between masculine and feminine, even in the imperative form. There is no difference also in the present tense, right, and past tense, but also when it comes to imperative, they still is same. So uktuba, are you with me? Then we say for feminine dual, that was it. For feminine plural, we keep the last letter na unchanged. This is interesting. No, so yeah. So taktubna. Taktubna is, now you tell to the sisters, taktubna, right? As a third person. So that taktubna will, now you will keep that no without change. So the only thing change we are going to do is, for example, here it is taf'alna. What we are only difference we are going to make if it's in the table is remove that and replace that with alif, which of course in this case will have what dumma because of dumma on ba, right? So it is taktubna, uktubna. So uktubi to one sister, uktuba two sisters, uktubna to a group of sisters, a group of women. Okay, uktubna. Are you with me? So this is how to form, and it's very simple. So I thought, let me make it very simple compared to what appears in our books and what we discussed in the previous lesson. And I thought that today, before I get into next lesson, let's try to make it very simpler, so you can easily do it. And then, of course, now we come to samia. So samia yasma'u. Now, second person, when you talk to a sister, say tasma'ina, that you are listening. Anti tasma'ina. Now, if you are talking to Fatima, say anti tasmina. Fatima, you are listening to the lecture. You are listening to the class, right? Tasma'ina, the second person. So tasma'ina will become ismail. What is happening is that this ta will be replaced by alif, right? And because mim has a fatha, it has alif kasra e, and nun will drop out the nun. So ismail, like we drop out nun here, we are going through nun here. So Ismail, listen, Ismail. So if you are very careful, I know very few sisters go to Kabristan when there is a burial. But if you happen to be there, in some of the cultures they go. In our culture, unfortunately, they don't encourage us. There's nothing wrong with Sharia-wise. The only thing is that sometimes it is careful that, because especially if a sister has lost a husband or a son or somebody very close, brother, right? Then maybe they become emotional, start crying. So and at that particular time, because of emotions that cry, we'll be careful. So tasma'ina isma'i, right? Just so, and that's why in the Takim we say isma'i ifhami. Isma'i ifhami. Listen and try to comprehend. Isma'i ifhami. That means that you're about to talk to that mayyat who is feminine. She's just lying there. Recite the king. Say, Isma'i ifhami. Listen carefully and try to comprehend. And then, of course, it declares that there is only one God, and Muhammad is a prophet, and Imam's name, Quran is a book, Qibla, Kaaba is a Qibla, right? So that's how it starts. Isma ifham. If it is a man, we say Isma ifham. Isma ifham. Listen and be attentive. For a girl, we say Isma ifham. So this is Isma, you can say. Tasma ifham. The two sisters, Tasma'ani, Isma, right? As we said, there is no difference between masculine and feminine. So again here, Tasma'ani, Isma, also for feminine, is not Tasma'ani, Ifan. When it comes to third person, Tasma'ana, right? You say to the group of sisters, Tasma'ana, you are listening. Isma'ana, listen, all of you. No? That means when you come to command that if there's in the class, there are only sisters, only girls, it's Isma'ana. No? Just listen. So this is what we have done is we have tried to make it very simple, simpler for you to be able to follow this thing. Okay, I hope that is clear. Unfortunately, you are not in my presence that I can stop to ask you questions. But I really hope that I'll make this very easier. Okay. If still you find it's difficult, confusing, let me know. I can still discuss about the next class, or you can even email me, and inshallah, I'll try to respond. Okay, so this was doing what imperative verbs using the second person fi'l al-mudari. Fi'l al-mudari is present or future tense. No? So take a fi'l al-mudari, second person, and form that. Both for masculine and feminine. We also saw that where, for example, it can be u or e. It cannot be a. We can never say asma. It can be no, uktu or isma. There is no asma or uktu, right? So there is no fatha when it comes to imperative. Okay? So this is very clear. Okay? I hope and I made it clear and simpler. I actually took trouble today to think that let me try to make this simpler and redo the slides. So that's what I've done compared to what appears in our book, which is little also sometimes confusing. No? Or I hope that's clear. So now we go to, that was lesson 3. Okay. Now we go to lesson 4. Now lesson 4 also was about imperative verb. But this, in this case, what is it that you want to keep the third person or the first person fi'l mudari as it is, and then add something else to either to say is an order or to make it is important. You should do it. So, for example, you want to say that my son has to do well in his class. No, you're not talking to him. You are talking. Let's say you are talking to your friend, right? So my son has to do good, well. So you are going to use third person in that case. Or, for example, you say to yourself that I have to. Just now we are going through this crisis in the Middle East, so I have to do something, right? You say to yourself, I just can't sit. I have to do something. Maybe I'll just use my ability to use social media. If I can write a letter, I'll write a letter. If I go to the protest, so you say, I have to do it. So if you're used to for first person or third person, what do you do? In that case, our book has told us in Unit 4 that we apply li, right? Lan, kasra, li before that. So we prefix the letter li to the third and first person of the mudari verb. Okay, so third and first verb. When I say first, of course, I meant third and first person here. Maybe you can say it's a typo, but just I didn't know right now. It's understood. Third and the first person of mudari verb. So mudari verb, kataba yaktubu. That means he writes. Third person. First person, aktubu, I write, right? And then we write naktub. So kataba yaktubu, yaktuba, yaktubani, yaktubuna, right? And then, of course, the first person will be aktubu, naktubu, right? So that is fi'l mudari, which is present and future. Taking that, what we do, we prefix the letter li. So now we add to this already. There's already a prefix ta, keep in mind. In the previous case, we dropped that ta. No, here you are going to add another prefix. You will see in the next slide, there are so many letters we add to the verb to bring about different kind of verbs. We'll come to that, inshallah. So there is already yaktubu, and we are going to add another prefix because ya is already a prefix. You can see. Kataba, right? The ya is a prefix, right? Ya. We have put another letter, li. We have put a prefix li, the third person. The last letter in the third person singular, in first person singular, and plural takes sukun. So here you can see first person singular and plural takes sukun. So first person yaktubu, first person singular aktubu, and third person. In all this case, this ba, bu, and here yaktubu, aktubu, naktubu. All this will end with sakin. The dhamma will go and sakin. So the last letter in the third person, okay, this is third person, and in the first person singular and plural, first person singular and plural takes sukun. Okay, and then of course we say in the third person dual and plural in masculine and dual feminine, ni and nu is dropped in the imperative. So this ni and no, ni and na is read, right? So you can see ni and na is dropped. It is not no, it's na. This is the type. So let me correct it. So in the third person dual and plural in masculine, the dual in feminine ni and nu is dropped. This is our feminine, but I think we will just now talk only masculine. Okay, so let me change this thing. Let me just change this thing, and it should be no third person dual. Yeah, in the third person, ni is dropped, and the third person na remains unchanged. Okay, so this we did not to work. Sorry, we are yeah. There is so in the third person dual and masculine and dual in feminine, ni and no. We just now are just talking. So we just remove this. Oh, sorry. I was trying to correct this thing. Here it is li, right? So we'll just masculine. The third person dual and plural masculine, ni and na. Okay? This is ni and na, not nu, but na. Okay? So let me correct this. Alhamdulillah, I realized the typo immediately. So it's good that we correct it again. So the third person dual and plural masculine ni and na is dropped in the imperative form. Okay, and the third person na remains unchanged. The third person plural. So there it is. You can see yaktubu liyaktub. Right. What we are doing is this ba, as we said, here bu and here bu and bu will become sakin. Okay, and then we are going to put la liyaktub li, right? Liyaktub liyaktuba liyaktubu. Okay, liyaktub. Liyaktub. Okay, so liyaktub, for masculine, we say he has to write it. Liyaktub. Two of them liyaktuba. They have to write it. The masculine liyaktuba. They have to liyaktuba. Liyaktubu. It's they must write. The group of people. Liyaktub. Now, as I said, I must do something. So liyaktub, or we have to do something. Liyaktub. So this is we are putting li. Again, this is a masculine, and we are adding, li. In any case, the only thing, of course, you are saying this is in the third person plural, no remains unchanged. Now, this is not. This what we have to do is that this we remove this thing because this only applies to what feminine. In the third person, no remains unchanged. This also is not to do with because there is no. You can see, right? There is no here. So it's just a tubuna ektu, right? So we'll remove this thing, okay? And then, inshallah, we will. So this was masculine. Okay? Again, sorry for those correction we have to make. So yaktubu will become liyaktubu. Yaktubani will become liyaktuba. The changes is we are adding prefix li. Here we are putting sakin in B. Here we are dropping in ni, as I said. Yaktubuna will become liyaktubu. We are adding the prefix li and dropping na. Okay, like ni and na. Uktubu will become liaktu. No, you are just saying myself, I'll have to write liaktu. No. Again, this tumma will become basaki and we'll add the prefix li. Naktubu, we are going to add li prefix and remove this, change this bu into this basaki. Okay. So again, yaktubu liyaktu, yaktubani liyaktuba, yaktubuna liyaktubu, aktubu liyaktu, naktubu liyaktu. Okay. I hope that was clear. Now I made it now. Yes. Now the same thing, we go into now feminine. It is the same process. What is it? That in the feminine, the third person will say, for example, kataba, masculine is yaktubu, feminine is taktubu. Okay. So it remains same. What we are going to do, we are going to add li, prefix li, and then dumma will become basaki. So taktubu, that means she, Fatima taktubu. Fatima writes. Fatima is writing, for example, present tense. Fatima taktubu. So litaktu, that Fatima should write. Litaktu. Taktubani. This is the same as masculine. Taktubani in the third person becomes what? Yeah, lektubani. Because the third person might, because taktubani. Taktubu, taktubani, taktubna. Right? So this is, if you take kataba, if you take third person in feminine, it is taktubu, taktubani, yaktubna. The tricky part is this, yaktubna. This is but this here, yaktubna. So taktubu will become litaktub, taktubani will become yaktuba, yaktubna will become yaktubna. The only difference here is this now will remain as it is. The only difference is that we are going to put prefix li. Okay, so this is the easiest changing. Yaktubna, liyaktubna. There's nothing we do other than just ending prefix. When it comes to third person, feminine, right, plural, the only difference is that we only add prefix li to yaktubna. Otherwise, it remains as it is. First person, aktubu, right? Again, liyaktub. There's no difference because first person singular and feminine, as you know, there's no difference, right? In all the cases. So liyaktub and aktub. Absolutely, there's no difference between first person feminine, singular, first person feminine, dual, plural. If you see this feminine, and if you look at masculine, there is no difference. Okay, absolutely. So only thing we have to take is this third person. So this, I thought, let me make it, simpler and easier. Okay. So inshallah, I hope that this is a good revision as far as what lessons 3 and 4 are concerned, imperative are concerned. Please try to look at the passages of Quran and try to find it. Okay. We looked at a number of ayat last week. Now, of course, you also said that this li, okay, here is this li, liyaktub, liyaktubani, liyaktub, in all this li becomes lam sakin. It drops kasra and changes to lam sakin if it is preceded by wa or fa. And of course, there are examples, right? We said examples are if you see on page 105 of our book, right? If you look at page 105, there are verses of Quran, which I mentioned. For example, وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ رَبُّهُ وَلْيَتَّقِ. So he should know, he should fear his Lord. وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ. So that lam kasra will become lam sakin. Okay, so there are 6 Quranic verses, phrases there in our book 105. There are 7, but not the last one. Besides the last one, all the first 6 have waw or fa before that, and that lam, which is kasra, becomes lam sakin. So, for example, وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ رَبَّهُ وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ كِتَابٌ بِالْعَدْلِ. No, كَاتِبٌ بِالْعَدْلِ, right? The one who writes that. وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ كَاتِبٌ بِالْعَدْلِ فَلْيُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَلْيَأْخُذْ حِذْرَهُ وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ. So these 6 verses are there. All of these are in imperative verbs with li, but that li becomes lam sakin. Okay, before that there is waw or no ta, or this fa or wa. Okay, so keep this in mind. And these are 6 verses. If I happen to find some more verses, I'll share with you also. At least now we can have a look at it as a revision when we revise this thing again next week. Perhaps we will look at it. So I hope they're very clear. Again, you are not in front of me, but if you happen to listen to this and if there are any questions, feel free to ask. Now, as you know, that this is our 6th session in this level. Quranic Arabic, no, Ali 658, this is level, no, 6th session. Now, the next level will be level 8. So this is the time for us to now plan. Let us plan for the next level. Alhamdulillah, this is the good time that this year, this level, this time we had 12 students. I was very pleased to see that. We did not do much homework because I wanted you to do in the class. Some of you did participate, but some of you still did not, right? So now this is our 6th session. Well, inshallah, next week we'll have our last session of this level, on this level 7. So please email to this economislam.com or WhatsApp 128955776 informing us if you will be joining Quranic Arabic level 8. Because now you are finishing level 7. Would you be interested in joining level 8? Once we have 10 confirmations from you, or even more, then we will let you know when we plan to begin the next course. It could be within a week or 2, or perhaps depending on what majority feel, we can either start after December, early January, or even we can start soon. So let's see about it, okay? So please let us know soon about your decision. Would you like to be part of, would you like to join level 8? Okay? Hope that's clear. Sure. Now we go to the same thing what we did, Samia. But what I've done is now combined. Okay, what I've done in this case is that within the table, I have made it easier for you. I've included both present tense and imperative. That's mudare and fi'l amr. So within one table, we have combined fi'l mudare and also fi'l amr. If there was space, I would also put perhaps past tense. So past tense, present tense, and fi'l amr. But just now, because past tense, mashallah, we discussed a lot about it, and by now I'm sure that you are in a better position to already conjugate past tense, because we did also in the class, and some of you did it right there correctly, right? So that was good. So now this is the table, which is a combination of present tense and also imperative, okay? So this is it, you can see. Samia is the past tense. Yasma'u, he hears. And then if you want to do it, that he should hear, you say liyasma, right? Do you see? So O becomes ain sakin, and then on top of that, we add the preposition, we put a letter li, okay, prefix li. So yasma'u, liyasma. Yasma'ani, both men hear. Liyasma, both men should hear. Okay. Yasma'una, they all men hear. All men folk they hear. Liyasma'u, they should hear. Do you see? So what we have done, all this discussion, even today and last class, we are summarizing this thing actually in reality, because we have done unit 4, right? So the first unit was about past tense, but unit 2, unit 2, first lesson was past tense. Lesson 2 was present tense. Lesson 3 and 4 were imperative, fi'l amr. So this table combines lesson 2, 3, and 4. And that's why I did this thing for you. I hope that you can use any other verb and prepare similar table whereby you can combine. So there is lesson 3 and 4 and also 5. So this is yasma'u, liyasma, yasma'ani, liyasma'ani, yasma'una. So this is third person. Coming to third person feminine, right? You can see. So coming to second person, tasma'u. Itasma. Tasma'ani, itasma'a, yasma'ana, liyasma'ana. So second person feminine will be tasma'u. Just say litasma. Okay, she should hear. Tasma'ani. you can see this is yasma'ani tasma'. Okay, tasma'ani, both female here. Liyasma, litasma'a. Okay, yasma'una, yasma'ana. Right, third person. Liyasma'u, yasma'ana. Okay, so this is yasma'ana, liyasma'ana. So they here, this is present tense, this is present amr. Okay, now this is what we are doing is now first person, both masculine and feminine. There's no difference. Asma'u, I hear. Li asma, I should hear. I should be attentive and hear. No? Nasma'u, we hear. Li nasma, no, we should hear. Both. There's no difference between dual and plural. Nasma'u again, li nasma. Okay? So this is a combination that whatever we discuss, those two slides, this is one, combining that. I really hope that now it is clear and we have made it simpler for you to conjugate imperative verbs when it comes to imperative verb. Inshallah, perhaps we will send you an email and give you 2-3 verbs that you use the similar table and conjugate other verbs, inshallah. Okay, so that will be good. In fact, we will either send you or we can start next class by using the same table and then conjugate other verbs, okay, into present tense as well as into imperative present arm. Okay, good. Now, two more slides. I want to discuss a good revision. Okay, as you know that we have been saying all the time that we used our textbook. Okay, this is the textbook we've been using, right? But there's another textbook which is also recommended, which is Access to Quranic Arabic, which always appears if you see our slides at the end. I've always included this book, right? Do you see this Access to Quranic Arabic? So we use this book, but this book has some of the good lessons. So what I've done for this class, I have chosen something also from that book. This is a good revision. You see, the root letters of an Arabic word are sometimes called radicals. The root letter, the letters which are there, is known as radicals. The root word is sometimes referred to as simply the root. Okay, so there is kataba. Okay, kataba. So kataba is the root, okay? And the letters in that kataba are known as radicals. No? So the root letters is known as radicals. Okay? These are just some of the words. New words grow like a tree from the root words. Keep in mind, it is just the root word, but which grows. New words grow like tree, right? Letters are added to the root, and vowels and signs are added or changed to form new words. So not only that letters are added to the root, but even vowels and signs are added, to the change, or change to form a new words. For example, you saw aktubu, right? Aktubu, I write. No, uktub, you write. Come on, liaktub, I must write. Do you see? So the sign changed from Dhamma to Saki. You see? So we can see that the vowel signs are added or changed to form new words. From the root khalaka, now this is an example. From the root khalaka, we have, for example, word khala, khalikun, ikhtilaf. Remember I told you that word, alima, has different kind of forms. No? In fact, I have a concordance here. Since I have time today, I will get it, inshallah. I'll get it concordance and see that how much different words can we form. We have today time, I think. Yeah, we have today some time. So later on, I'm going to bring that concordance. That is a good concordance. If you put a concordance in front of you, it will give you all the kind of forms. So, for example, khalaqa. We have got khalaqa, he created. Khalaq, the one who creates often, Allah. Khaliq is the creator. Allah is a Khaliq, but he's also Khalaq. So it's not only once he created, he goes on creation, right? So Allah is Khalaqa, Khalaq, Khaliq, Ikhtilaq, creation, right? So now note that the letter alif has been added between the two roots. No, here is Khaliqun, right? Do you see? There was Khalaqa, alif was written became Khaliq, right? Shadda and alif has been added between the two roots khalaq. So in the word khalaq, what happens? That with khalaqa, what is added? Shadda and alif. So there is khalaqa, there is shadda, khalla, and then alif, khalla. So what happened? That we added here only alif. In this case, we added what alif and shadda, right, between the two, and then hamza, ta, and alif is added to the root in ikhtilaf. So to the word khalaqa, we added hamza, right? We added what al-ta, this, and we also added another alif, another alif. You see? So do you see how a word, a root word, you start adding certain letters and you go on growing it. I'm going to just now grab that concordance, which gives all the different kind of forms of a particular letter found in the Quran. So this concordance is the Quran, Quranic concordance. But before I grab that thing, here it is. These are the letters, 11 letters. So you should know them. Because why is this important lesson? The moment you look any word, a long word, and then you want to find what is the origin of this word, what is the meaning of this word. For that, you have to go to the root word. The root word is the one which should be found in the dictionary. You won't find, for example, anzarthum. For example, this is sa'altumuha, right? Sa'altumuniha, right? This is, subhanallah, you can see, it is, original word was sa'ala, to ask. But it has another 7 letters. So imagine from 7, yes, another 7 became 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you see? Sin, Hamza, Lam, Ta, Mim, Waw, Nun, Ya Sakin, Ha. So from 3 letters, original Sa'ala, you add additional letters and it will give you a different word altogether. So if you look at Sa'altumuni here, you will not find dictionary, right? But because now you are a student of Arabic, you have to find that you have to remove all those extra words, letters, and then you'll get it. So in this case, there are 7 letters. So these are the 11 letters which are added, prefix or either suffix, to a verb to get different kind of word. Okay? I'm not just now going to grab the person. So Sa'altumuniha. In the same way, for example, anzartum. No, you know, whether you anzartum, you warn them. No? So again, it is originally was nazara, means to warn. Anzartahum, you warn them. Did you warn them? Anzartahum. Anzartahum here is this first alif is question mark. Anzartahum, you warn them. So anzar, did you warn them? Anzartahum. No. So you can see there is hamza, there is hamza. This nazara is same, and there is ta, ha, and mim. So you can see that the additional 5 letters, 1, 2, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from the word nazara, you see, to bring this anzar. So this is important. Let me just grab this because I've been telling this thing. I'll just very briefly show you. We'll take only one word. For example, this is a book, or Rafi. This is a concordance of Quran, right? In other words, they take a word which is found in Quran, and then it gives you different forms of the word and the ayat which is there. No? So, for example, let us say, for instance, we will take a word, a very common word, right? Example, Rab, right? Subhanallah. Now, Rab, as you know, Rab means Lord, right? Rab. So, what is the original spelling of Rab? Ra, Ba, and then what? Shadda. No? Rab, right? Rab. So now that is Rabbun. So now see different forms, right? When it comes to Rabbun here, we are told Rabbun it appears in Quran, it tells us here, 981 times, of which 724 times it appears in Makkan surahs, and 257 it appears in Madani surahs. And then the word Rabb appears in 19 different forms. No? So Rabbun, Arbab, Arbabun, Arbabun, Rabbun, right? It goes all the way Rabbun. And then, for example, we have got Rabbin, those Rabbun, Rabbin, right? Then we have got, for example, what? Rabbaibukum, right? Rababiyun, Rababiyun, no, Rabbaniyin, Rabbuka, right? All those different kind of forms, you find it. So within that that word appears in 19 different forms. And how many times it tells us. So this is, if you have a concordance like this, it will give you an idea. Of course, at this moment in time, you don't need to invest or get this thing, but this is what we use in trying to find, if you want to find a word in the Quran and how it is used, how many times it comes and where it comes, this particular thing helps us. This is very good. No, it's a really something we value it so much. We have been having it for so many years, and we need this every time we prepare a lecture. If you want to start by saying that in Quran, what does this particular thing? We use this thing. No? It's a special encyclopedia, no? Concordance of the Quran. So keep this in mind. No? That there are 11 letters added to the root to form different kind of words. Okay, that was all thing. And then coming, here's the example. So these are following words from Al-Baqarah. Because I'm discussing just now. These are all from Surah Baqarah, verses 9 to 34. What I have taken from verses 19 to 34 and tried to highlight the words which are there. So if you just open Quran, Surah Baqarah, from ayat number 9 to 34, just try to first of all pick up the words. Okay? So yukhadi'una, ويمدهم استوكذا أضاءت فيعلمون فيقولون ويقطعون يميتوكم. Okay? يحييكم وسواهن ونقدس أنبئوني علمتنا واستكبر. Right? So these are all verbs. These are verbs found in these verses. How many? 14 verbs. Now we want to break this. Let's say yukhadi'una. Let's say you are looking at it, and although the translation is there, but you still don't know the meaning of it. So you want to find the word of it. So what you'll do, you just take yukhadi'una, okay, and try to remove the extra words. So the extra words, ya, alif, waw, and nun. So original was khada'a, no, to fool or to deceive, khada'a. So yukhadi'una, the additional letters are ya, alif, waw. You see, yukhadi'una. وَيَمُدُّونَ. He extends for them time or no example or opportunity. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ. So wa, and there's ya, وَيَمُدُّهُمْ. So wow, ya, ha, mim. So again, it was, you can see there are four right here. There are four extra letters. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ. Original was just madda. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ. Okay. So it was وَيَمُدُّهُمْ. This is extra. Istawqada. Again, the alif, in this case, there are only three extra. In this both cases, there were four extra letters. In this case, there are only three letters. Istawqada. Ada'at. No. So extra is alif and ta. The original was ada'a. Okay, just enlighten, ada'a. So at. Illuminate. No, so at. Alif and ta. You see? فَيَعْلَمُونَ. The original was alima. There is fa, there is ya, and then, okay, so in fact, I've forgotten, yeah, fa, ya, and there is waw, and this nun. So it was fakat, fa, ya, just alima, alif, lam, and mim. This was the root word. The root is ain, lam, mim, but fa, ya, waw, nun is the extra. Fayakuluna, again, fa, ya, waw, nun. Okay, wayaktauna, wa, ya, waw, nun. These are all extra letters. So keep this in mind. Some of the above 40 letters have the conjugation wow and fa prefixed to them. Okay, so keep this in mind that this wow and this wow and this wow and this wow and this fa, which what we have highlighted, these are conjugation. You know, because you also say and they did this thing. وَيَعْلَمُونَ, for example, you say فَيَعْلَمُ, so they will know. فَيَعْلَمُ, so they should know. That fa. So this fa is فَيَكُونَ, so they say, or therefore they say فَيَكُونَ. So this fa is there as a conjugation. Okay, keep in mind. There are verbs which have no pronounced suffix to them. There are verbs, yeah, keep in mind there are verbs which have pronounced suffix to them. So there are verbs. These are the verbs which have pronounced suffix to them also. For example, here hunna, right? So there are some of the verbs which have this hunna is a prefix to them, the attached pronoun. Sawwa hunna, okay, or ambiuni. Remember we said ambiuni. So first person singular ambiuni. Explain to me, or give me the news. Inform me, ambiuni. So sometimes there are verbs which have pronoun suffix to them. Many of these verbs, our translation here, they deceive and he leaves. These are the meanings of this verb. So keep this in mind. It is interesting that whenever you find a verb, because we want to close down discussion about the verb, mind it, identification of verb. We have already done past tense, we have done present tense, we have done already what fi'l amr, imperative verbs. Like, now let us make sure that we know how that formation was. What was the original verb by knowing this pattern. Okay. I hope this is clear again. If you have any questions, you can either email me or we can quickly answer your question earlier in the next session. Now, let me see how much time we have. Subhanallah, we have about 10 minutes, so I'll try to at least start this lesson 5 as promised. So we often command others, especially our children, not to do certain things. Right? Keep this in mind. So we also have command, but sometimes we also have negation. We also say, don't do it. In fact, this is known as a nafil amr, right? So nafil amr, this is it that a nafil fell means negation. This is, if you take our lesson 5, in our text, it is lesson number 5. I believe it's page number, here it is. Yeah. So page number 106 in my print. Al-nafi al-fa'l, that means you are doing nafi, you are doing opposite, you are negating the action. Al-nafi action means negating action. Okay? So, and it often happens, especially to our children, or even Quran telling us often that don't do things, don't do certain things, because there are do's and don'ts, right? So, yakhruju is he leaves or he departs, right? You command them, la yakhruj. So what is Arabic? This is done by adding la before the present tense. Okay? The i'rab of the present tense will change from sukoon in most cases to lose the last noon. So you can see yakhruju become yakhruj. The way, for example, ukhruj, right? You say that come out, or la yakhruj, that he should come out. Now you want to say he should not come out. So that instead of lam, li, we say la. La yakhruj, he should come out. La yakhruj, he should not come out. So C is very tricky. The difference is, li became la. So la yakhruj, he should not come out. La yakhruja. The yakhruja means the two men should come out. La yakhruja, they should not come out. La yakhruju, they shouldn't come out. So that command is there. La takhruj, she shouldn't come out, right? Usually we say la takhruj, she should come out. La takhruj, she should not come out. La takhruja, the two of them should not come out. La yakhrujna, no, they should not come out, the sisters, right? La takhruj, now you are second person commanding. So that was third person, masculine and feminine, second person, masculine and feminine, right? La takhruj, la takhruja, la takhruju, right? So it is, he is la yakhruju because third person, but this is second person. La yakhrujna, la takhruju. Okay? La takhruju. So la yakhruj, la takhruj. La yakhruja, la takhruja. This is third person, the second person. La yakhruju, la takhruju. Okay? Coming to feminine, third person, la takhruj, and then la takhruji, second person. La takhruja, second person, la takhruja, same. You can see no difference. La yakhrujna, la takrujna, right? La yakrujna, la takrujna. So difference ya and ta. Okay. So this is masculine, feminine, the same pattern. La akruju, but of course there's no dual and plural is same. La takruj. Okay. So this is nafi al-fa. It's very, once you have mastered how to do with Lee and with Hamza, it's easier. Just use again the third person, or try to get a table of Fadl Mudare and start putting La, and then of course change this last ju into this Jim Sakin and drop the noun here. Of Juna, drop the noun, right? Again, here ni was dropped. Here na was dropped. Here ni is dropped. Here na is dropped. Okay, what perhaps we can do next time is I can combine the way I combine this present tense and fa'al amr. You see, what I did is that we combine the present tense and amr, right here, present tense and amr. In the same way, perhaps if I get time, when we start the next class, what I'll do, I'll combine this, present tense and then nafi al-fa'il. Okay? So I hope it makes it clear. Please go to lesson 5, prohibition or nafi al-fa'il. And then, of course, you can see the author has given a number of sentences. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Kul la takul lahuma uffin wa la tanharuma. Subhanallah. Because she's Hafiz al-Quran, right? So she's smart. She could have started from Surah Al-Fatiha al-Baqarah, but no, she goes mid with this ayah. Why? Because it applies to all of us. That if you have parents, we are all, then what we are told? La takul lahuma uffin. Wala tanharuma. Not even say to them a word uff, a word of contempt, no repel. Wala tanharuma. So when it comes to your parents, doesn't matter who you are, Muslim, non-Muslim, who they are, no, doesn't. They are the parents. La takul. So don't say to them. La takul. La takul lahuma qawlahuma uffin. Don't even say uff. Uff is any word of contempt. So one of the hadiths of around 6 Sadiq Islam says that if there was anything lesser than that, Allah would include it. It's the lowest word, simplest word to say to the parents, don't do. No. So la takulun uffin wa la tanharuma. No do repel them. So it's a good example that she starts with that example from Surah Al-Isra. And then of course she goes on all the way 107, 108. There are examples which inshallah we will discuss next week as we continue discussing this particular unit. Unit is this lesson 5 of unit 2. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq, that we are able to understand his book from original Arabic instead of relying on translation, and we take interest in trying to understand and enjoy the message as it appears in the Quran. May Allah accept the efforts of all of us. Again, because of the program this evening, I had to record this thing early. I hope you will take time to listen to this before we come to the next session on next Wednesday. اللهم صل على محمد ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم